Welcome, welcome, welcome. Look at that. There's a little image of a stunned Brian that opens up on this.
Shocking.
Sorry, I had a little bit of a technical issue. We were out of cloud storage space, and I was rapidly deleting and forgot to bring you on. That's
No
on me.
worries.
Thanks, producer Kyle.
Thanks, producer Kyle. My name is Adam Freeman. This is Comic Industry Insiders Live, a weekly look at how the comics industry is burning itself to the ground. Where no,
Wow.
no, not really.
Oh, somebody's in a mood today, folks.
Ironically, everything is wonderful. We're just all coming back from San Diego, and maybe just a little bit punchy, a little bit exhausted, some bags under the eyes. You know what I'm saying? Like it's been, it's even Brian. I feel like I took it easy this time.
Mm-hmm.
I got in bed. I was in bed no later than midnight every night I was there. I didn't go
that's
hard.
Still 3 a.m., right? Like, you know,
Which is 3 a.m. Yes, exactly.
Factor in the other coast.
And I think it's just age, man. I think I'm just finally gotten to an age where I'm the guy who says, all right, I'm going to bed. And then all young people go, finally, we can have fun. The old fart has gone to bed.
Yes, I tell you, the West Coast also just ruins me. Like I seem to have 3 days where I'm good, and then like the third day I just shut down.
Well, I didn't stay long enough to get that third day, and I think that's just it. I think I got the shutdown when I got home.
Yeah, so, it's gonna happen, right? It's gonna happen.
I suppose it comes for all of us, man. Well, we're all getting back from San Diego, the biggest party of our year as far as the comics industry goes. And for those of you who have never been, it is everything you think it is. It is a massive. You've never been.
Never been. 53-year record of never going to San Diego Comic-Con. Yeah. This was going to be the year.
I was looking back.
Life got in the way.
I was thinking back on my first time going. No kidding, Jeremy. Stay hydrated, everybody. Especially when you're in San Diego and sweating your balls off and probably out consuming dehydrating beverages.
San Diego wasn't like unusually warm though.
It was pretty standard.
Yeah.
The day starts with that. What do they call it? There's a cloud cover that happens every morning. I can't remember what that's called. It's got a thing. No, it's got a name. But anyway, it all started that, and then maybe high of 90 at one point. It was never really that too bad on the outside. But most of my meetings these days are all outdoors, right? Yeah. So they're either by that pool at the Marriott or by the pool at the Hyatt. So it was back and forth. This was my Marine Layer. Thank you, Felicity. Thank you. It was Marine Layer. Yes. So yeah, it was a pretty constant meeting schedule for me this year, and most of it was out of doors. So I think that was also a little bit exhausting when you just spend all day outside, even if you're just sitting in the shade chatting.
It's that fresh air, right?
Too much fresh air, man. It's just exhausting. If you've never been and you're a comic book fan, you really should go at some point. It's wildly expensive. And it is exactly what you think it is. It is a massive convention center that is completely full with comics vendors, people who are geek adjacent vendors, just full convention room floor, including giant displays from big companies, big installations, tons of cosplay, just incredibly intricate cosplay this year. I didn't get any pictures. That's just, I don't know, my brain just was not there. And lots of programming. We at Prana, we were able to do 2 panels this year. I say we because it really was a communal effort. We had Megan handled all of the applications and getting the communication back and forth with them. And then we had our new guy, Blake Morgan, did an amazing job on the panels. And we've just decided that the panels went so well, we're going to do a recorded version of them for the podcast. So those will be coming up. We can talk about those in a little bit. But yeah, I will say, the giant Galactus. Yeah. Oh, I missed completely the drone shows.
Oh, yeah, it looks so cool.
I don't know. Anyway, it is like I assume something like the Cannes Film Festival, where it just takes over the whole town. It's like that. It just completely its tendrils just go out into every restaurant, every bar, every venue, every empty space gets filled up. For instance, our friends at Ignition had something they called the Ignition Press Room, I think it was called, where they did big events every night. They had all of their meetings. There may or may not have been a quiet little whiskey bar tucked away that I may or may not have drink that. It was really fantastic little display. But I'm saying is like San Diego just gets taken over by Comic-Con. It just becomes fever. And yes, as Jeremy points out, everybody doubles or triples their normal prices. So you can't walk around easily. Oh, yeah. I never saw this thing.
It's so amazing. There was a bunch of different ones, but there was Deadpool, there was Galactus that kind of built up over Petco Park. I think there's a couple other videos here. Yeah, then the Fantastic Four logo, Johnny Storm shooting is really cool.
I wonder what that sponsorship runs for. Like, how do you?
It's real cheap. It's real cheap. You got to have Disney money to get that sponsorship.
I will say that I spent all of my time going to the same. I go through a kind of a habit trail of parties that I do and events. I've been doing this for so long, and I have places where I like to do meetings. And and this year was the first year that I've ever delegated out my calendar. And Megan did a wonderful job, but I swear to God, I did not have a moment for a meal. It was stacked. We were so busy. But yeah,
that's
San
awesome.
Diego, man. It was real this year. What did you do while I was gone, by the way?
Nothing. I just hung out and did a couple things. Just working on saving the industry. That's all. We launched our beta with 5 stores and some good stores too, like early comics suite users. So we've got Daniel at the Tangled Web.
Oh, I know Daniel. Yeah, Daniel. He was actually a really early Comic Suite user. Like he was a beta for Comic Suite.
Daniel. Yeah, exactly. So he knows a lot of stuff, and he's given us some great insight. And then Brian Polizzi, who is also an early Comic Suite user, he's on our beta.
And he also didn't Brian also attempt his own POS system at some point?
He did, yeah. And he was going pretty far, and then he kind of ran into the limitations of WooCommerce, which is why we never tried WooCommerce. So there's just little limitations out there. So it's been really interesting. So just kind of figuring out the kinks of the imports. And so we've decided we're actually going to take the imports ourselves, just because they can go smoother if I can actually kind of babysit them. So we're working with this guy, Sean Collins, and between he and I, we'll just do our imports of our first 75 stores. By the time we get that done, we should know kind of where things are breaking down and be able to smooth those out. But my team is like working so hard and so fast to fix things as they break. And, inevitably little things are breaking because we ripped all the still beating heart of Shopify out of our app. And turns out that, that could cause some problems.
Really? It turns out when you pull the infrastructure out, it doesn't hold up.
Who knew? Well, it's held up pretty good, but we're finding like tiny little pieces of Shopify code that still exist in certain places, and so we just rip those out and and then there's a few little like usability quirks that we're streamlining as well. But we're pretty excited about the next. Like we've identified 7 phases, and
7 phases.
When we get to like 5 and beyond, I don't want to oversell it too much, but there's some pretty friggin' cool stuff.
That's amazing.
Standalone is now the Rosetta Stone that I always hoped Managed Comics would be. And we're going to be able to work with like pretty much any POS. So that's pretty exciting.
So you're saying that Managed Comics will be able to integrate itself with any POS
Square, Clover, those are the ones we're looking at after we get Lightspeed and RMH done. So Square and Clover are relatively straightforward to do. So
That's
we'll
very cool.
Will be everything. Yeah.
That is very, very cool.
Yeah, I'm pretty excited.
I will say that we are making some adjustments on our side. I mean, it's not nearly as industry saving as yours, but we did get to, one of the things that I've enjoyed most about having started the Comic Industry Insiders and the newsletter and the things that we're doing, the work that we're doing with you to have data that we can share. One of the things I've enjoyed most about that is hearing from people at conventions about how much, they've gotten out of this show. Like many of them are really regular listeners, regular subscribers, and like the number of people who like want to have conversations that they feel like they have already had in their heads is so it's such a strange feeling. But to that end, we've actually reorganized a little bit. We're working on something very cool for Mondays, but that's coming. Blake, if you're hearing this, I'm referring to you. We have this on Tuesday. On Wednesday, we're going to be able to start sharing this show on our audio channels.
Ooh,
so there will be an audio version of this podcast available every week on Wednesday morning. Then on Thursday morning will be the recorded podcast, my long form interviews with folks. And we have some incredible guests coming up. And I think many of them are going to be really good guests for the live show as well. And then Friday, the newsletter. So we are like, it is going to be, hopefully we're going to have a nice little stacked thing where we can start contributing to helping everybody in the industry on a daily basis. So please do stay tuned and connected to all of our platforms, including wherever you're watching this, whether it be on the Experience or any of our channels. Be sure to subscribe to the newsletter. I know that we always talk about that, how important that is. And be sure to subscribe and hit the alert button on the that's right, Blake, the Prana content machine. And Blake is a big part of that. So he's a huge help. Anyway, all week long, make sure that you check in with Prana because we're doing our best to make sure that you see the news and you understand it and you see the people behind the scenes and understand how this whole industry works, because that's the point, right? Is to try and get a big open view of the whole comics. So there you go.
That's awesome. That's awesome.
So what do we have in our rundown today? What's next?
Well, why don't we talk a little news? Because while you were off gallivanting in San Diego, the world was moving on without you. So
I don't see how that's possible. I think the whole world waits on me for permission, right?
That's right. Let's start out with kind of really, really interesting news.
Yes.
And that is that Diamond has motioned to sell its shares of Diamond UK. Diamond UK is the UK arm of Diamond. They are profitable. They currently sell Marvel and Image and DC and all the things that Diamond hasn't sold for a number of years. They're good dudes, like good people. So
solid.
This was really interesting to see.
I will say the guys who there, Mike Holman, and I can't remember the other fellow's name who I chatted with in San Diego.
Is it James?
Oh, Berg. I feel real bad. I'm sorry if you're watching this. I don't remember your name, but good blokes, right? They're definitely from London. Which, by the way, you look at my ancestry. All of my people are from London, so I feel like I'm probably cousins with these guys.
Nice.
Anyway. Good. Really wonderful people. I've always enjoyed anytime I go out to like one of the London shows or any of that in that area, hanging out with them. I've yet to see the warehouse. I've always wanted to go see the warehouse. However, I've heard tell it is Diamond UK was at the beginning of all of this. Whenever there was the announcement for the Diamond bankruptcy showed up, the first story we heard was that Diamond UK and Alliance Entertainment were both being sold. Not Alliance Entertainment, Alliance Games Distribution were both being sold in order to keep Diamond Comics distribution alive. Obviously, looking back, that was not the truth. That was a little bit of spin. However, it only really worked because these were the two profitable arms of this, big Hydra, which is the Jeppy family holdings.
Mm-hmm.
And it seemed that that Universal was going to be buying Diamond UK. That's what we kept hearing. That's what we heard from them. That's what we heard basically from Universal. Everybody was saying that this is how this was going to go. At some point, I'm not sure where the disconnection happened, but I think that there was an opportunity for the people who run Diamond UK, Mike Coleman and his crew, to buy it. So now there's a select group of this management of Diamond UK that have put together a deposit. They have, according to the story, there's intensely negotiated the value of this. And they're waiting to hear, I believe it's on the 18th, there's going to be a hearing for whether or not they are going to be allowed by the bankruptcy court to purchase this outright. I'm rooting for them. I think they're really great guys, and I think it's wonderful that that the UK and the EU are going to have this solid distribution because from what I hear, many of the bigger UK and the surrounding area accounts are actually ordering direct from Lunar these days. Like they're having stuff shipped over, which cannot be more efficient. I mean, I don't know how that works out, but it's good to know that there's going to be a solid, healthy company that's in the mix and negotiating for distributing to that whole part of the world, right? Because man, that's a big resource. I would say between 10 and 20% of sales of American comics goes into that portal. Yep. So a loss of 10 to 20% would just be impossible. So,
and then on top of that, they have a lot of stuff that we never see, right? Like, so they have kind of a pipeline into a lot of the European market that we don't get to see. They get stuff like 2000 AD, like 3 months before we do. So yeah, it's
and I believe that they are the source. Like I believe that they've negotiated some sub distribution or something where Diamond DCD, Diamond US, was buying from Diamond UK.
Yeah,
that's my understanding.
Yep.
So it's going to be real interesting to see where this lands, man. It's going to be a fascinating few months, but I'm really rooting for these guys. They really are the wonderful people to work with.
Yeah, I reached out to them a while ago, just saying like we're having a real hard time getting data and then making that data available to our UK stores, and they reached back out and were like, okay, let's figure this out because this is important to us. So they recognize that this kind of stuff is important. Mm-hmm. We've got probably a dozen or so UK clients that use Diamond UK. So, and I know like we have Forbidden Planet and they want to get all 14 stores onto Managed Comics in the next little while. And that's huge, right? Like the amount of business they do through Diamond UK is very large.
I didn't know Forbidden Planet what you were working with. That's great. Forbidden Planet UK?
Forbidden Planet UK. We've had the UK warehouse for over a year now. But yeah, they've been patiently waiting for our multi-store stuff to come out. So
that makes a lot of sense. They're good dudes too. I really like working with them.
Yeah.
Also, it's interesting. There's a common business genealogy between Forbidden Planet UK, Forbidden Planet International, Forbidden Planet UK, and Titan and Diamond Comics Distribution.
Right. Because wasn't
Diamond UK? Yeah.
Titan was like a spin-off of Forbidden Planet at one point, weren't they?
I believe so. And I believe that, and I know that they were the ones that originally were the distributor of Diamond UK. And it wasn't until Bob Wayne at DC said, nope, I'm not going to sell to a retailer, sell to other retailers. Which makes me wonder makes everybody, wonder what Bob would have done in this particular environment. And listen, Bob, invitation's always open. Would love to have you on the show. Would love to talk to you, man. So what a legend.
That would be Bob's. Yeah, that'd be pretty cool.
I know. I'm working on him. Every time I see him, I work on it a little more.
I love it. I love it. Hey, have you seen some of the cool stuff that Abrams is publishing? So I don't know if you're familiar with X-Men Elsewhere.
Yeah,
Such a crazy idea.
I'm familiar with them. For reasons I probably won't talk about right now.
Nice. Jeremy says next time I have lunch with Bob, I will ask him again. Please do.
Yes, please do, Jeremy.
He needs to be on it.
Please. Yeah, because Bob lives in Fort Worth and Jeremy's in Dallas. I'm from Fort Worth. Little known fact, the second comic book I ever bought, I bought from Bob Wayne's store in Fort Worth, Texas, when he was a retailer. So yeah, he likes to joke that he really should have just run me over in his van while I was on my bicycle, and it's would have changed everything.
Not for the better. So Abrams is publishing X-Men Elsewhere, which was basically a fanfic thing that John Byrne did on his Byrne Robotics website for years. And people have cobbled this together and sold bootleg copies of it at cons for years. And now it's going to actually get a real release as I think it's 3 240-page full color hardcovers. Absolutely amazing. So very exciting to see stuff like this. As a longtime Byrne nerd, I think this is so much fun.
I agree. I think they're doing incredible stuff, and I wish I could talk more about what I can talk about. There you go.
We'll get it out of you at some point. Maybe we'll have to have somebody from Abrams on to talk about it
at some point. Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Kirkman is also making big moves with the series Capes coming back, and if this does anywhere near the numbers that Battle Beast did, I'll be pretty happy, because it's definitely people are hungry for stuff in the Invincible universe, and that's an iron that isn't going to be hot forever. So it's great.
How is Battle Beast? How is it performing post Blind Bag Spectacular? How is it doing?
So what's interesting is number 1 has legs. We keep seeing people just because I went fairly heavy on number 1, and I just will get 1 and 2 copies selling constantly. Number 2 and beyond, I mean, I think we probably did half the volume of number 1, but a lot of that was that blind bag. It sold crazy. Now everybody's doing blind bag. DC has a Batman blind bag. Dynamite's doing a bunch of different blind bags. So we should have known that this was going to come. Top 15 in sales in my store. It's up there for sure.
Any other retailers in the chat? I'd love to hear your reports as well. This is fascinating to me that these big flashy releases sometimes will just be that single issue, and then you don't see anything after. And I think that's always the real fear, is that the attrition rate will be 100%. So I'm glad to hear that it's continuing, and they're going to be.
I haven't seen anybody drop it since they started picking it up. So it's
great.
It's got legs so far. Yeah. DC made a whole bunch of announcements, including Night Fight, which is going to pit Batman against his Robins. And then there's a whole DC KO event, which is going to be basically contest of challengers, a contest of champions for the DCU, which apparently they've never done a big knockdown strike fight kind of thing.
Wow. Awesome. Speaking of Batman, Jeremy.
Sorry.
Oh yeah, no worries. You're right. Go ahead. Yours.
Mark Spears blind bag coming in October. Yeah, so Mark Spears is launching a new series, and it's going to start with a blind bag, and then
where's it launching from?
It's X Posse Holdings, which is also Keenspot. So I think it's his private label or whatever.
Gotcha. The enigma that is Mark Spears. Mark, I don't really know you. I'd love to interview you, because I'd love to understand how all this came together, because you just seem to come out of nowhere and just change everything, which is fascinating to me.
It's true. It's true.
Jeremy said 99 will take some of the wind out of the sales velocity of Batman 1, but still crossing fingers for that. From my understanding, and I've heard this now from 3 sources that were not DC, that they have had to something like they had an original. You have to do these things really way far out in advance, right?
Mm-hmm.
And you have to, especially these bags, they really have to be printed way ahead. My understanding is that they went ahead and put in a really aggressive print order, and then something like had to triple that print order once the orders started coming in. And now there's a real question of, do they allocate and then ship it later? Do they just ship the whole thing later? There's a lot of questions. Wanda, ask questions as we're going. We'd love to hear from you, but we'll try to make some room in the back end for
with my FOCs for that, which I think were 2 or 3 weeks ago, and Batman #1 is on FOC this coming week. I think I went 4 or 5 times what my pre-orders were.
Yeah.
And then because of a small bug in Managed Comics, because this has never happened before, where one title was available before the others for FOC. I think we've had an additional like 15, 20 pre-orders for it since then.
Goodness.
So yeah, my numbers were pretty close to what I'm going to sell resell. So yeah, it's kind of crazy.
Well, good. I mean, I think we need hits, man. We need these hits.
Sure.
Because they rise the whole. I mean, all the boats come up on this water. So,
and I mean, between this and Batman Deadpool, which will come out that same month, like September is shaping up to be all of the money.
Yeah.
All of the money's coming in. It's also all going out. So everybody save your pennies for September.
Well, that reminds me, I actually have a new graph that I didn't send you. I'm going to, you want to talk about this next one so I can grab that graph and we can
Sure. Yeah. So also San Diego Comic-Con Absolute Green Arrow is coming in spring of 2026. And the team is going to be Pornsak Pashot and Raphael Albuquerque. So Pornsak did Man's Best recently. Raphael Albuquerque has done a ton of stuff. Great designs. Looks really fun. And it's going to start in an Absolute Evil one-shot. So there's a whole thing coming out. It looks really interesting. And any of the Absolute books have really kind of set the place on fire. So I'm looking forward to this one.
Absolute and Ultimate, right? That's what's built us.
So then Marvel announces that Ultimate Spider-Man, which is our 3rd highest selling title, is canceled as of 24. And the Ultimates, which is our 5th highest selling title, is canceled as of like 15 or something like that, because the Ultimate story is coming to an end. And I near pulled the remaining hairs out of my head. I don't understand. And I'm sorry, but like Marvel is dropping so many balls. This is incredibly successful. And I know it has to have, a beginning, middle, and end, but
I tell you,
they turn and flip a new Ultimate Spider-Man 2 months later and nobody buys it, like, don't be friggin' surprised.
I have a little graph that's going to show you that here's something. I'm going to give my folks here a moment to pull it for me, because I want you to see it before I do it. But I will say there is, the long-standing Marvel versus DC question has been there, but I'm saying we are getting really close, at least for the FCR rating, not for overall sales, not for overall dollars. I can't speak to that, but the FCR rating, we're reaching parity, and I've never seen parity, but we are getting real close to DC catching up to Marvel as far as fan interest goes.
I mean, that makes sense. Like, DC's actually got line-wide cohesion, and they're doing like really interesting things around the bundling. Like Marvel will just give you a bunch of something. DC makes you buy and commit to, it's going to cost you $25 for 25 copies of something, which if you do the math in your head, you're like, okay, if I can sell this, it reduces my overall cost down to a couple bucks an issue. Like, it is a no-brainer when you start to do the math.
Hold on just a second. There's I want to pull this down and give it to you. Actually, you know what I'm going to do is I'm going to send this to you in Discord. Look at you. I know we're talking through this as we go, because we honestly I didn't really think we were going to talk about these things today, but what the hell?
Oh, lovely. Perfect. Pull those up. Do you want me? What do you want me to start at?
We can let's start with the indie. Let's do them in order. Let's do the indie, then the top 10, and then we can do the Marvel versus.
You got it. Let me just change the screen I'm sharing. Okay, are you ready, folks?
Let's go. We presented this material. We were going to talk about this a little bit later in the show, but we did 2 panels at San Diego this year. One was on the bestseller list, and that has been powered a lot by Managed Comics, and now adding in the we're now adding in who are they called? Comic Shop Assistant. We talked to them quite a bit about that this week. So where these numbers come from is what's known as the fan confidence rating. This is based on the number of pre-orders and subscriptions of fans in comic shops. So we are specifically focusing on the interest of fans on a unit-to-unit basis. This has nothing to do with 1 in 100 stuff. You can't pull that out. If you have an exclusive cover that you ordered 3,000 copies of, it will not be represented here. So all of this data that we're about to show is really just based on fan interest in the stores. So start with the top indie for June 2025. These are the titles that are not Marvel, DC, or Image, since they take the biggest chunk out of the top end. And you can see, like, we are really in an age where it's difficult for, like, say, books like Beneath the Trees or Nobody Sees or Minor Arcana. They are really, and Mark Spears monsters, man. Mark Spears, he's everywhere. But it takes so much to get past Hello Darkness. It takes so much to get past these sort of licensed books. No matter where you're selling, even if you're not in Marvel or DC or any Image, it really just takes a huge effort to get past that. And then if we want to go to the next one,
sure. I want to punch in a couple of these though as well. Like TMNT is an ancient property, so I think it's kind of interesting to see stuff like Mark Spears Monsters number 3 as well.
Yeah,
that high up on the list.
Exactly.
And you've got Beneath the Trees Where Nobody Sees Volume 2. Like, I think that's a really cool story to see that kind of stuff up. So I mean, Hello Darkness, number 13, like a year in, it's still hitting. Yeah, it's really cool.
Well, and you know what? Actually, go back really quickly. I'm sorry. Let's not lose it. I think you're right. I will say that as a company, one of our clients is Recca Comics. We do The Future Is. We announced that we're doing 60 issues monthly, 5 years, and people thought we were nuts. Look at these numbers.
Yeah.
Number 23, number 12, number 19, number 13. If you continue to put these books out, it builds a readership, and that readership keeps coming back. And that's why we're focused in on getting this so well.
Yeah, so, if you go just a little bit down the chain, like I think it's like 12 or 13, you're going to see things like Something Is Killing the Children, which is in, I want to say, like issue 32, right?
Absolutely.
Like, so there's definitely potential for some of these other titles as well.
Yeah. Yes. Here we go. Jeremy saying he'd been told by other creators trying to do what you're referencing. Right. It's time for that. Right. The value proposition of the comic shops, the value proposition of single issues is every week, people showing up every week into stores. Yep. And we're seeing that here. Right. We've got issue 20, issue 11, issue 11. Where's the issue 1 on this list? There is not one.
Yeah.
Right. Look at that. The top 10 titles all are deep into the series. Maybe the age of the miniseries is over, unless that miniseries is going to 100 issues as Something That Killing the Children. So anyway, there you go. Yeah. So these are the pieces that we were able to show. I'm hopeful, Megan and Brian, that last one, if you got it, would love to see it. But let's go. Oh, this is this other next slide is one we were really talking about earlier that reminded me that I even had these slides. I apologize. This is a look at Marvel versus DC over the last, I believe it's the last year, right? Last 12 months by publisher. This is their overall market share. And you can see DC rising gradually through this whole period. Now, granted, they're also seeing increases for Marvel too, and that's wonderful. It means that more and more people are buying both. But look at this parity that we had in May. Look how close that is.
Yeah,
we have not seen that in, I don't know, years and years and years, decade. I mean, further back than we have current data. Right.
Yeah.
It has been a long time since we've seen them that close. And I think that DC is just going to keep doing it. They're doing an amazing job, and they're focusing on story, right? That's just it. Absolutely. They're focusing on content. Yeah. It's not flash. It's not, I mean, don't get me wrong. They're doing some flashy shit like the blind bags, but that's not their goal.
No, it's true. And anecdotally, I just see, like, at our store, the balance shifted to DC like since probably February. I've noticed more and more DC and less Marvel. And there's a lot of attrition in, like, people are dropping Amazing Spider-Man, people are dropping the X books. Like, it's really weird. And then they relaunch stuff so quickly, Moon Knight, things like that they don't seem to get the traction they need. So then they relaunch it and you lose a whole bunch of people. And we auto sub people to the new series, and folks will just, like, drop it, like, before it even comes out. So it's it's troubling for sure.
Yeah. Well, I just sent you over that last graph that I wanted to show you, because what it says is the thing. I made a joke about the whole business burning itself to the ground. But we are in a time right now where interest is just continuing to grow. It's wonderful to watch. All the stores I'm talking to are seeing an incredible year, and yet last year was an incredible year. We saw ICV2 talk last week about how we're seeing yet another growth in the overall industry, or the overall market. So this next graph that you want to pull up.
Oh, I didn't turn it on. Yeah,
I can see it. It's in the background. Look at that. So this is the fan confidence rating, once again, which is defined by subscriptions and pre-orders divided by the number of stores reporting. And in this particular instance, I believe we're in the 220, 230 stores. You're absolutely wrong about this figure drawing. Yeah, I mean, you could say we're lucky, but print media is not dead. It is doing incredibly well, which you can see right here. This is the fan interest. These are people coming into comic shops on a weekly basis and picking up printed comics and are showing up in this order. And if I go back out 2 years, if I go back out 3 years, you're going to continually see this rise. This dip that we saw in the pre-orders for January, February, right in the middle here, that little trough, that was greater than the year before's peak. Like, we're just continually seeing this rise. Yeah. So it's been an incredible year, and I'm looking forward to seeing where we go from here on out, and especially now that we're finally putting out decent movies.
Right? Yeah, back-to-back bangers. Absolutely.
I'm now debating figure drawing. I get what you're saying. Newsstands are gone, bookstores are gone. However, the comic shop, the store count for comic shops has not shifted more than 4% in the last 2 decades. So year to year, it has not shifted. During that time that the bookstores were dying, during the time that newsstands were dying, during the time that nearly all privately owned brick and mortar was dying, comic shops have remained consistent. And for me, that just feels like growth. Even though it's just staying static, it is in its own way growth when everything else is dying. So yeah. Anyway, yes, we have a lot to be optimistic about right now. So sorry, we got off on a rant.
I love it. I love it. That's the best part.
What else is on our rundown?
So we're going to talk a little bit about things that you like. What tell us some cool stuff that you saw. I mean, a lot of what you ended up doing was the con behind the con, right? Like, you did a lot of poolside meetings and I think you said you didn't even make it to the show floor this year.
I did. Jen Haynes, who's the former head of Comics Pro and now just runs her shops in real close to you in Guelph.
Guelph.
Excuse me. She and I like walked through the convention to get someplace that she was going, and that was the only time I actually entered the floor.
Yeah. Danny Ward, I think Ghost Machine, right?
That's correct. Hey,
Yeah.
Danny. Yeah, I missed you. I guess you were probably on the floor. There you go. That might have been why I missed you. Yeah.
So the vibe of the convention was great. Lots of people reading, saying they want to check out stuff friends recommend was a constant theme. Yeah.
100%. 100%. I think it says so much about comics in general that in a year where we're not seeing as much film money going into like San Diego Comic-Con, it was as big, if not bigger than ever before.
Yeah.
You know, it was legitimately, I think, because of that we saw just, you know, a San Diego that felt like it was on an upswing, despite the fact that usually the two, comics and film production, tend to get really stuck together in their curves, and film production is really dropping off, but comics just seems to be riding up. Yeah. So I think it says a lot, and I think it says a lot for the future of the rest of entertainment because of how much it samples from comics.
I think comics too tend to do better in kind of recessionary periods, because it's a lot cheaper to launch a comic than it is to launch a multi-million-dollar property, and there's less risk, so you can try crazy things, and if they work, then you have the template for how to do it in another medium. So I think this is the time when you actually start to see new and crazy, you know, media properties, which kind of brings us to Ignition, right? So Ignition Press is a new publisher that is Eric Gitter, who is a massive Hollywood producer. He's done all the Extraction movies. He produced Scott Pilgrim versus the World, like so many different things. You got Philip Sablik as the publisher, who was Boom Studios publisher, buddy of yours. You've got Jamie S. Rich as the editor-in-chief. You got Jeremy Hahn as the art director, and they're putting out things that are just like good, solid stories. Every one of those people has an amazing track record too. So
that's true. That's true.
It's pretty cool. Did you make it to I think you said you made it to the Ignition Press.
I did. I had a meeting there with Philip early in the day, so I got to kind of see the bowels of the place. And I did go by. They did a burlesque show, and you know, in another life, been to a lot of burlesque shows. So I was really curious to see. But as a result of that, I ended up getting drawn into having drinks with a couple of creators, including Jeremy down in the kind of their secret little room. It was really nice. But I will say, I think the really interesting thing about what Ignition is doing is they're doing more creator-owned stuff, which is right now is really it's a hard pitch to do creator-owned stories. I mean, everything that we saw is, yes, Blake. I mean, me too. I'm really excited for it. But everything that we saw in those top sellers is, you know, is properties that we're already familiar with. Mm-hmm. You know, even Mark Spear's Monsters is a Universal Monsters kind of thing. It's really like, it's very difficult to do creator-owned launches right now. And yet these guys are doing everything they can to make creator-owned launches exciting. And they're doing everything they can to bring people from outside of comics into the comic shop. So for instance, they did a Kickstarter launch that on its face didn't look like it was, you know, on fire. But if you look at it as a promotional device for the comic that they're selling, it actually makes a lot more sense. And I'm told from those who actually purchased it that what they received was essentially, here's a sample, here's a cold open for this title. Now go buy it at your local comic shop.
Right.
And I think it's a beautiful model, if nothing else. And if they can make that work, anything that pushes people into the comic shops, I think is worthwhile.
Yeah.
Right, here it is. Yep.
Murder podcast, The Cold Open.
Yes, exactly. And then you can see from these numbers, not the record-setting numbers that we often see from these things, but solid numbers. And especially if you consider that each of these people is essentially paying for a promotional item to push them towards the series, to push them towards something they can buy in their local comic shops.
Yeah.
It actually becomes a much more inspiring idea.
Yeah,
So,
for sure.
yeah.
And brand new company. Like this is literally their first thing that they released. I think it's really interesting, and things are just going to get bigger for them over time.
100%. Yeah. So it was a cool space. Obviously they had some money to spend, which is great. I always worry that people are going to run out of that money, but it is because that's part of how these companies work. They get a big pile of money and then it burns down until they don't no longer have a big pile of money. And then we start seeing where, how much they've actually built. So
yeah, for sure.
We'll get to that point for them at some point, but I know from dealing with Philip that he's a good steward of that money. So he'll be, they'll be doing good work.
Oh, I totally agree. Yeah. Yeah. I gotta brag a little bit. So I actually built the Ignition Press website. So we were originally going to build 2 websites, a promotional one and then like a shop one. And during the build, I was like, guys, I think we should merge them. And so we ended up building everything on Shopify, which I love. And so all this stuff is Shopify powered. It's still really pretty. You can go into creator pages. I've got some extra work to do because I want to actually add the properties that they're attached to underneath the creators, and vice versa. I want to add the creators underneath their properties. So yeah, I've been just like learning a bunch of new Shopify tricks. I actually kind of took some of those ideas and added them to my own store. And so I built a different control that actually powers all of these little creators things. Storylines, I call them. So yeah, I can use that same code for different things as well. So, and then I went back and I'm going to refine what I did for these guys. So there's a bit of an Ouroboros going on. But yeah, it was a lot of fun. And I got to work with Philip and Bree and Scott and the whole team. So it was a lot of fun.
I'm going to pull up a quick screen grab here that I'm going to drop into our chat. If you can pull it up, I think.
Sure thing.
I think we'll enjoy this story. It's a beautiful site. You did an incredible job. And I think it says a lot about them that they hired you. I'm 100%.
It was funny that during our first kind of meeting, Jeremy Hahn said, "Oh, it's nice to actually talk to somebody that actually literally knows, about how websites work and how they work specifically for comics, and I don't have to explain. Okay, so comics come out monthly." Yeah, so tell them what was happening here.
All right, so I was in a meeting with Philip, and he just keeps looking at his phone. Not like him; he tends to be really respectful when you're meeting with him, and he's not somebody who keeps his nose in his phone the whole time. But he said, "We're having a problem. We're trying to launch this site, and there's a problem with the sales tax." And he goes, "Oh, Brian." Like, yeah, I know Brian.
Yeah, I know Brian.
And so you want to pull this up. I sent him a picture. I sent Brian a picture of Philip chatting with him while we're talking. And he said, that's not a meeting, Philip. That's Adam. Yes.
Because Philip had said, I'm in a meeting. I can't really talk right now. And then you send this. And I'm like, that's not a meeting. Come on, Philip.
Which is exactly what Philip said you were going to say.
Everybody knows me too well.
Yes. Boy, we filled up an hour, didn't we? About 10 minutes.
Yeah.
Hey, Wanda, anybody else who has any questions, we would absolutely love to hear them. There's a lot going on. And Blake, why don't you remind us who are we dropping this week? Who are comic industry insiders? Who is that? I can't remember. Are we doing I can't remember. Never mind. I'm not even try. Awesome. Well, what should people be thinking about while we wait for questions?
Yeah, we got a question earlier that I just want to find. There it is. Brian, do you have an updated ballpark for Oryx release to the rest of us? So yes, we're actively in our beta. I think it'll probably be about another week, give or take. But as soon as I can get people in, I'm going to. And we're going to bring in probably 10 to 20 new stores in the next week. And then I'll kind of unleash the floodgates. But in this beginning, it's as much me figuring out what we don't have written in terms of help and support, and making sure that our import processes are really good. So if you just go to managedcomics.com, click on get on the wait list, you get on this wait list, and we're going to bring people in the order that they added themselves to the wait list. So do that if you're interested, and you'll get a bunch of information. Craig, my business partner, and I are just working on like what information we're going to give people in the next week or so. And the number one thing, and I'll tell this to anybody that uses Comic Suite, back up your data daily, because we don't know what the long term of Comic Suite is. However, all of your data is in RMH/RMS. So all your Comic Suite data lives there. So you don't have to worry about Comic Suite going away from that point of view. It just might make the export process a little trickier, but it's not going to make it impossible. We'll be able to figure it out.
That's wonderful. I will say, Wandering Wanda asks, how do you find new creators? I'm going to assume you're talking about retailers. How do they find new creators? And I'm going to say, if you're looking for comics retailers to buy your book, my answer is, and it's legitimately, people pay me a lot for this answer, go find an audience. Build an audience first. Go and find people who are following your work, people who are interested in what you're doing. Once you have an audience that is buying your work and showing up, once you go and read an article that Ken Kelly wrote called 1,000 True Fans. Once you have your 1,000 true fans, you're going to find a publisher, and you're going to find retailers that want your product, because you already have that fan base who is keeping you alive and doing the work that you do. So, Dan, I agree, man. I will tell you, I know they take a lot of slack. DC Comics takes a lot of slack for getting stuff into the dollar stores, and and Marvel also. It's nothing but good. It's nothing but good that brings new audiences to us. So yeah.
Kyle says, "Who is Ignition?" DMs. People are asking about Ignition. Yeah,
I think Kyle knows who that is. Kyle's giving you shit. Oh yes, we're doing a live rebroadcast of one of our live shows. I believe this week we're actually going to do on the podcast. We're going to be redoing the Circles and Squares episode, where we talked about the case study of Recca Publishing and the actual details of that publishing. So I'm looking forward to that.
That was fun. Yeah, that'll be cool.
Yeah.
I think that was another one that you did without me, wasn't it?
Was it
the first one you did without me? No, I was there. I was just
you
really
for that one,
because you had like 5 people on, and I was just kind of sitting back and going, "This is fun." Paul S volunteers to be a guinea pig. Paul, just get on the wait list. I assume you're talking about Managed Comics. Let's do it. 24/7 Comics says hello.
Right on.
Circles and Squares.
There you go.
Fringes.
That was a good title. I think that was your title. That was a good one.
Was it? That was, yeah. It made sense when you explained the whole situation, and I love that.
I love a good metaphor.
Future is number 5 is on FOC on 8/4.
There you go. Number 5. We're getting close. All first 7 issues are affidavit returnable. And I will tell you, we're starting to get some of the return numbers back. They're really, really light. So thank you guys so much for showing up. Really do appreciate that. Awesome.
When a company is committing to 60 issues, you have to keep those early ones, because guaranteed you're going to get interest down the line. So it doesn't make sense to return those.
And there may or may not be a sale coming up. Just wanted to give everybody a heads up.
Really?
Just
Really?
yeah.
24/7.
Hey, is it Carl in the chat? What's up, buddy? Carl runs 24/7 Comics, is a fantastic publisher, and apparently Jeremy was one of the retail backers. That's really great. Awesome. All right, buddy.
Yes, it's Carl.
Hey, Carl. Well, this has been fun. Is there anything else you wanted to cover before we take off?
I think we pretty much nailed everything. Yeah.
Look at that, man. And in under time, we did it.
Tight 60.
Unlike Jeremy, who said we weren't going to do a tight 60 once we came up with something new.
Still a tight 60.
Still a tight 60. We got it.
We just dropped a bunch of stuff in the back end that we didn't talk about the Comics Pro breakfast. We didn't talk about the Learner Social. We didn't talk about
God bless it.
We can talk about these things in the future.
Oh, you know what? We've got about 4 minutes to talk. I want to know from the chat, if I say the words, if I say the name, Gary Vaynerchuk, I want to know, do you know who that is? Without Googling, I want to know, just give me an up or down. And I don't need an opinion. Everybody's got an opinion. I'm really curious if you know who Gary Vaynerchuk is, because we presented that we're working with Gary Vaynerchuk to do VFriends going into comic shops. We presented for Recca Comics. We talked about the live shows and the podcast. We talked about main entertainment. We talked about now I'm really gonna run out of time.
You're just shilling now. This is just shill.
We did.
This is the guy who's been shilling Managed Comics all episode.
We did a lot. And we weren't shilling Managed Comics. We really should. We should figure that out. Anyway. It was a great presentation for Comics Pro. We were able to sponsor that event, and we didn't even get into the drama of getting everybody to the event. That was dramatic and fun. But yeah, it was a good week. I'm happy we went to San Diego this year, even though I'm really exhausted.
Yeah,
and
no doubt.
Still have not quite caught up on the rest.
Hey,
awesome.
We've got about 2 minutes left. I'm going to ask you a quick question. Have you noticed any difference in how you're perceived, having done all that, like you've been doing Comic Industry Insiders live for about 18 months, 2 years?
Yeah, February of last year was when our first episode.
So about 18 months. And then you've been doing this. We've been doing this, I want to say, for like 8 months now. Our first one was January. I think we did one. You work with me on the January 1st, like a New Year's Eve one, New Year's Day one? Yeah, I think so. Yeah. So we've been doing this for like 7-8 months now.
Yeah.
Have you noticed any difference in like how you're perceived and how has it changed conversations?
It is really interesting that I'm somebody who just knows about comics, right? And not even just about comics. I know about the comics industry. Like if you ask me about what's going on in X-Men or Spider-Man, I'm going to say, I don't know, But so it's very strange for people to even know who I am. But like I'm getting now more and more people who show up at industry events and say that they've watched everything that we've done, that they're regular listeners. I'd love to say hi to David and Gall. You know who you are. Hearing from them and hearing that they are fans of the show and that they get something out of it, especially when they're somebody working in the industry, right? And that these are the people that we create this stuff for. Or I spoke to another creator at a party who said that I'm ready to level up. Watching your stuff, listening to your stuff, I'm realizing that it is time for me to bring my product to market, my books to market. And it's hugely inspiring. It's wonderful. It feels very strange being on the other side of that parasocial relationship where people will come to you and like it's almost like they've had this conversation in their head with you, and you're catching up. Yeah, it's weird.
It is. Yeah.
It's real weird,
it's
but I don't know. I do enjoy what we are able to do for everybody, and I do enjoy having contributed in this way. I mean, we've never, not that we won't, but we've never had a sponsor. We've toyed with the idea of something like a Patreon, but we haven't actually done it yet. We do this because of the love of the game, and we want everybody to succeed.
Yeah, absolutely.
So,
Rising tide lifts all ships, right?
look at that. I think we found a title for this one.
The Rising Tide.
Brian,
Awesome.
where can people find you?
ManageComics.com and at ManageComics on all the social medias. How about you, Adam?
I think you can go to pranadm.com. I don't know if we have a new site up yet, but
We will soon. We just have to turn it on.
close.
And I have to figure out how to do that with your server. We'll figure it out.
I'm sorry, man.
Yeah, it's all ready to go. It's just
Prana DM, Prana DMS a couple places. My name is Adam Freeman. I do go by that. Sometimes Adam Bang Freeman. So you can find me on the socials, although I'm less and less active on them, just too busy. But feel free to reach out and book time with either one of us, because we would both love to help you with your with the work that you're doing to build and grow our industry. So
absolutely.
Rise this tide. And wherever you are, Kyle, buddy, hope you're feeling better.
Absolutely.
Awesome. Thanks, y'all. Namaste.
Namaste, y'all.